you and I need to talk. You need to stop losing money. And I have 3 ways to improve your sales funnel so you can finally stop your leads from running away from you. Okay, so let's get started with 3 techniques that I, as a marketer, I love and I always use. So I'm going to share them with you. Some of them are pretty known, and there's one of them you probably never heard of, unless you're very much into marketing. So welcome. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel and the podcast. If you're listening today, we're talking about something that literally keeps me up at night when I see businesses doing it wrong. And that's because I'm obsessed with sales. And as I'm writing this, I'm just going to record this because I want you to, at the same time, be able to have a look at what I'm doing here. Now, if you own a business, you're a coach, you have an e-commerce, anything, your sales funnel is probably leaking money right now. And maybe you don't even know it. Look, I see this all the time, and it doesn't matter the client, it doesn't matter the industry that they work in. I see this across the board. They're leaving a lot of money on the table because they don't have the right offer for the right clients. And they shouldn't either, because sometimes, unless you spend a lot of time actually curating what you're selling and who you're selling to, you're not going to know. And that's okay. We're only human, okay? But businesses obsessing over getting more traffic, more leads, more eyeballs, when they're completely ignoring the gold mine they already have in their existing customers. And what I mean by this is, now here's the truth bomb. You don't need more website visitors. You don't need more ads, more clicks. What you do need is smarter ways to maximize what you earn so far from each person, so from each lead who's already interested in your stuff. And what's the best part? When you do this right, your customers won't feel like you're just trying to squeeze every last penny out of them. They'll actually thank you for it. Now, if you're not using these 3 techniques that I'm about to show you, you're literally throwing money away. You're flushing it down the toilet like a freaking turd you don't want to get rid of, okay? That said, let's dive into my 3 favorite ways to boost sales without spending another dime on ads and all of that. And what I'm trying to say here is, and these are my top techniques here, being the first one that is not very talked about or very known, and the last one being my favorite, so keep on watching. So one of my favorite techniques is called a tripwire. And what that is basically this. Have you ever gone to a store to just look around but ended up buying something smaller than what you actually wanted to buy, but then some time goes by and then you come back later and you get the big thing? Or you're, scrolling through social media and you find this amazing creator who's telling you that you're going to lose this amount of fat in this amount of days, and you're like, oh my gosh, I really trust them. I really want to buy from them, only to realize that probably their product, their offer, their coaching is so freaking expensive, you cannot afford it. And then you go into the website and you find that they have something smaller. So you're like, do you know what? I mean, I don't mind spending $10 on this product because I get to see, I get a sense of what it's like working with them. And then you come back because you purchased this, you tried it, you did the work, you saw the win, and you're like, you know what? Now I'm ready to invest in their, 100 offer. And then you try it, you see success, and then you're like, you know what? I'm finally ready for the one-on-one coaching that they have that is worth 1K. And you're like, I'm sold. But you had to go through all of those touching points with the creator, and some of them even being freebies. So it even starts before with a $0 offer when you're like, you know what, I like their freebies, so their paid products must be even better. Then you try it, you see the wins, then you're like, let's go for the mid tier, and then you're like, yeah, I'm ready for the big investment. Well, that is what we call a tripwire, and that is just, it works really, really well. And so many marketers use it. I fell for it, and it's hard to have me fall for something. Then I learn about this, and I'm like, oh, this is genius. So now I'm sharing that with you. Now, don't lie, okay? I know some of you out there are like, let's use this. Don't lie, because I know you have. We all have, okay? That's exactly what a tripwire does. So what is a tripwire? It's a cheap but valuable product, usually under $50, that turns browsers into buyers. And it works because once someone buys anything from you, even something tiny, like it's like they're psychologically way more likely to buy something bigger from you later on. So that's a good way to do it. Now check this out. The average conversion rate from cold to traffic high ticket, so from cold to high traffic, is around 1% to 2%. So at best, that is at best, and we're talking mostly ads. There's not a lot of recognition from the brand. People don't know what you're all about. But the conversion rate from someone who's already bought your tripwire can jump from, listen to this and get ready, from 1% to 10% and from 2% to 20%. So we're seeing a 10% plus the initial thing that we had. And in the meantime, we made more money because we sold the tripwire, which was, yes, it was a lower ticket, but when you stack it together, that makes money. And then you're selling the big thing. You're pulling the big thing, okay? The meat and potatoes, everything, right? So it's just, that's crazy. And so, sometimes it'll even go up to 30%. That's just crazy. Like, that's an insane ROI if you think about it. So let me give you a real example. So I have this client, a fitness coach, we're not going to name, who was struggling to sell a $300 coaching program. It was $300. It was actually $299 coaching program directly to cold traffic. So we created a $9 meal plan that was like, could have been a freebie, to be honest, as a tripwire, just $9. And not only she managed to make a ton of money out of it, because 9 times, whatever times you sold it, I don't want to lie to you because I don't remember exactly the number, but I think it came about, okay, I'm really bad with math. I can't remember that, but I do know where we jumped from there. So the meal plan, the people who bought the meal plan, the $9 meal plan, ended up buying her $299 coaching program within 30 days. So 30 days after they got the low ticket offer, the $9 ticket offer. So without the tripwire, she was converting at like 1.5%. That is just, it's crazy. Now do the math. If 100 people see her offer without the tripwire, maybe 1 or 2 buy the $299 program. That's $299 to $598. So $299, $598. See the difference there. And now imagine if you scale that with ads. That's a lot of money. But with the tripwire, let's say that 25 people buy the $9 meal plan. That would be $255. Then 15% of these people who bought, could be like 4 people, buy the course, the $299. Oh my gosh, that is it's about 1,000. Then the total, because we're taking the others, would be about 1,421 for the same 100 people who saw this at the beginning. See how that works? It's great. And we're talking about a hypothetical case with not many followers. and no ads. So imagine if you brought in the ads, the followers, then it's a lot. It really is a lot. Now that's almost triple the money from that exact same traffic. Triple. Are you getting this? Triple. Triplets. No, not triplets. Triple. And hey, don't confuse tripwires with cross-sells, okay? Because a cross-sells happens at a checkout. So I arrive at the checkout, I'm like, yeah, buy, click the buy button, okay? And then they're suggesting me, hey, add this additional cream for your full makeup, whatever, you know? So that's what a cross-sell is. It happens at the checkout. It doesn't happen before the sale, which is a tripwire, okay? So cross-sells happen at a checkout when you suggest something that goes well with what they're already buying. Like when you buy running shoes and the store goes like, hey, want this special running socks too? That's a cross-sell, not a tripwire. A tripwire will be a different thing, something that leads you to buying the shoes. Like, oh yeah, I really like their socks. I guess their shoes must be good as well. So that's pretty much it. Now, quick question for you. What kind of low-cost, high-value offer could you create as a tripwire for your business? Think about this. Drop it in the comments. I'm really genuinely curious to know what you come up with, depending on your business. But now, next up, I want to move into the downsells, okay? Because we're also all about keeping the sell, okay? We don't want anyone to go. Like you go to the checkout. I don't want you leaving, okay? And if you don't have money to buy from me at this point, then I'm gonna offer you something else. So this is probably the most underrated strategy of all online marketing. And I'm honestly shocked that more people aren't talking about this. Here's the deal. No, not everybody will say yes to your main offer. That's just life, okay? But this is crucial because just because they don't want your first option doesn't mean they won't buy something else, especially if you present it as another chance to get value. We've all been there, right? You make your pitch, they seem interested, and then, sorry, that's just too expensive for me right now. Most businesses go like, okay, thanks anyway, bye. And they let the person walk away. That's insane. You've already done the hard part of getting their attention and their interest, and now you're letting them leave with their wallet still closed? No, not on my watch, okay? That's not happening here. This is when you're like, okay, let's do a freaking downsell. Let's not lose to sell. So a downsell is a cheaper option that you offer after someone says no to your main product. It is literally the difference between making $0 and making some dollars, at least some of it. Like, don't let them walk away. They wasted your time. Nah, come over. Like, there's more. There's more where that came from, okay? So let me give you a good example. Let's say you sell one-on-one coaching, one-on-one coaching program for $1,500, okay? And someone thinks that's too rich for their blog. That's a lot of money, okay? Instead of just letting them bounce, you offer them a self-paced course with the same information at half the price. Half the price. Now, instead of making nothing, you still make a sale and you keep them as a customer for future offers. Plus, you get their email, you get the help that they needed at the price point that works for them. Everybody wins, and you keep their email, and then you can sell them through emails. And listen, downsells are not about lowering your prices or devaluing your premium offers. They're about giving options to people who aren't ready for your expensive products but still need help. It is actually customer-centric when you think about it. And something that I would like to tell you is it's interesting when you use downsell because the more, in average, it is said that people need 7 instances before they make a huge buying decision from someone. And by huge would mean like a high ticket offer for them, or what a high ticket would be for them. That, of course, depends on your target audience, the products that you sell, your expertise and all. But it takes 7 touch points. So that could be your free content online. That could be a freebie. That could be a webinar. That could be your newsletter. That could be your podcasts. This could be like a low ticket offer. And then the big cash. Okay. But if they don't have money for the big thing, they have a downsell and they're like, oh, this actually works. I like it. Let's buy more. Okay. But once I tried it, if I don't try it before and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I like this, then they're just not going to buy it. So here's how I structured this for my clients. So after the main offer, if they say no, we send a follow-up email with a downsell that addresses the same problem but in a different format or at a different level of support. And of course, this will change depending on where in their customer journey they are, how aware they are of your solutions, their problems, how you can help, your brand, everything. And of course, it would also depend. Are you in e-commerce? Are you in the service industry? If it's service, then email works really good. You can comment them with like an abandoned cart email. But if it's e-commerce we're talking about, you want to address this after the checkout. When they click abandon, when they click clean, before they're leaving, you're like, you can add a pop-up like, hey, are you sure you want to leave? We have this other option, So the key here is to make them feel like you're not just pushing something else. You're genuinely trying to help them find a solution that fits their situation. And the result speaks for themselves. One of my e-commerce clients implemented this strategy and converted about 23%, which is a lot, of their lost sales. That was money that was going to literally walk out the door right there, but not on my watch. Now, I keep saying that a lot. Now, before we move on to the last, but no less important, because this is my favorite, because this is where the money's at. Before we move on, if you find this helpful, don't forget to follow me, like, comment, all of that jazz. You know what to do. Let's move on to upsells. I love these because they make more money. So more money, better. Okay, so all right, on to my personal favorite, the upsells. Have you ever ordered a burger and the person behind the counter goes, "Want to make that a big meal?" Of course you have. And you probably have said yes most of the time, right? Unless you're in a diet. So, and they're like, let me see. Do I want to make this a big bag, a big thing? And they're like, that'll be $5.99 for the burger. Actually, for just $2 more, you get to make a meal with fries and a drink. And you're like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, take my money. Of course, I want big chips. Of course, I want more chips. Of course, I want the big thing, okay? So that right there, that's an upsell. And it works because once people are already buying something, spending a little more doesn't seem like a big deal. It's basic psychology. An upsell offers a better version, a bigger version, an enhanced version of what they already are buying. And that builds momentum for the first yes. So I'm going to give you a beauty product example. If you've been following me, you know that I work with the beauty industry for a long time, and this is something that we did a lot, and it's done a lot within that industry. So a beauty brand I work with sells a $40 anti-aging serum. And after someone puts in their cart, then starts the checkout, we offer them a complete skincare set. So the serum, plus a cleanser, plus the toner, plus the moisturizer, all for $120. So get this, about 35% of people take the upsell. They came for a $40 product, but ended up spending $120. That's a 3 times increase in price, in average order value. So your AOVs, with 0 extra marketing costs. Yeah, the only thing that would add is more time on the people creating the copy